Be with you.
All right, now we're going to welcome Senator Jim Inhofe, Republican from Oklahoma. Senator Inhofe, welcome back.
Nice to be with you, Larry.
All right, Senator, let me just ask you, this was originally billed as an infrastructure bill, which does have some economic stimulus characteristics to it. In your judgment, you are known as someone who often favors infrastructure. Is this, in fact, the kind of infrastructure bill that you hoped to see?
No, let me first of all correct something my really good friend, he is a good friend, Ben Nelson, said. He's talking about the amount of this. CBO has this at $838 billion, not $780 billion. I had two amendments, Larry, and you're right. I have two areas where I really like to work hard on. One is, of course, the defense, and the other is infrastructure. You know, all this has is $27 billion of highway funding in it. Now, if you really wanted to do something, produce jobs, you would about triple or quadruple that, because we have $64 billion of projects right now in America. All the environmental impact statements, it's all been done. It could be done. And my amendment was defeated. I had an amendment to increase defense, some of the MILCON projects, along with roads and highways. If you do the math on that, that would actually increase jobs by the 4 million jobs that President Obama keeps talking about.
Well, I think with the domestic and the military infrastructure spending, a lot of Americans who read this stuff have become disillusioned with this bill. I mean, can you bring a truth in packaging lawsuit? I mean, this is not the product that folks thought they were going to get when this process started 3-4 weeks ago.
I think this is misrepresented just as much as the October $700 billion bailout was. And remember, we had a discussion on that a long time ago. Let me put it this way, and I think this is accurate. If you take the things that stimulate in there in terms of tax changes, they have an increase in loss carryback. They have a couple of provisions in there. It amounts to about 3.5% of the total $838 billion. Then if you take the $27 billion, that's about 3%. I contend that the stimulation in this is about 7% and spending is 93%. And those things that my junior Senator Tom Coburn sent in, those are still in there, and I could give the same list. Well, it's a huge, huge spending bill.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of sacred cows have turned into some really meaty and juicy pork on this. But even if you believe, even if one believed that throwing money at the economy was the way to grow it, even if you believe that, which I don't think you do, most of this stuff is backloaded, isn't it? Isn't that what the Congressional Budget Office is telling us?
That's what they're telling us. And Larry, I don't think you can find very many economists, I don't know of any, who say you can spend your way out of a recession. And that's what the president has been talking about. He doesn't deny it. He knows that in his mind, at least, he likes to believe that you can spend your way out of a recession. If you want to have a spending bill, bring it out. Let us work on that. But if you're going to have some, we know how to stimulate the economy. John Kennedy, when he was president, he knew how to do it. Certainly Reagan knew how to do it. We had amendments last Friday that would have brought down a decrease in marginal rates, capital gains, inheritance taxes, all those things that we know from our past experience would stimulate the economy. They're not in this. And by the way, don't let anyone tell you that it's either a compromise or that it's bipartisan. It's not a compromise, and as far as bipartisan, if you have 3 Republicans out of 535 members of Congress, that's not bipartisan.
All right, Senator Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma. Thank you, sir. It's great to see you again.
Thank you, Larry.
Coming up, a turning point for stocks. That's my